Salve, my name is Jack Trapanick, and I am running to be one of your consuls for the upcoming school year. In the past 6 years of my membership in BLSJCL, I have gained significant experience in all of its branches. I began as a devoted cartometer and then expanded into community service in the board, where I spent 1 year as an OAL and 2 as the community service coordinator, before making my way to state office as Mass JCL's second vice president. Now, with this extensive experience in the workings of JCL and its competitions and events, I hope to return to my local board and help lead a reboot of our chapter after the difficulties of the COVID-19 pandemic. Although we were able to hold many well-organized events both in person and virtually this year, engagement has undoubtedly taken a hit, and the recent trend of declining membership only continued. If I were elected, I would spearhead a year-long effort to reverse this trend by bringing the entire board into discussions about why people join JCL, how we can expand our outreach, and utilizing publicity officers to make a specific pitch to the school community about what JCL is. Prior to the start of the school year, the new board would settle on a very rough calendar of all the events we plan on doing for the year, so that we know well in advance what events we're interested in holding, and so that any officer at any point in the year could refer to it in, say, a Google Doc and get a general idea of what's on the horizon for them. To help other officers fulfill their duties, I would also meet with each position over the summer and list out with them what specific things they will need to submit in state and national contests throughout the year. This will help officers better organize and prepare for these contests, as they are sometimes not well publicized, like National Competition of the Month. After spending 2 years organizing 2 or even up to 3 service events for BLS per month, I have ample experience with not only event organizing, but with keeping in timely and regular contact with adults and managing large groups. My time on the state board has also given me helpful insight into the behind-the-scenes work of Mass JCL that I will readily use to our advantage on the local level. So, vote Jack to attack and bring JCL back. Thank you. Okay, and now on to the questions. So the first question, how will you ensure effective communication between officers, members, and sponsors? So email is definitely going to be my primary method of communication, but obviously we've been using Discord for a while and it's worked pretty well. So I would use them both in conjunction. So any announcement I would send both on the email and on the Discord. And that's because a lot of people like Discord, which makes sense, but email is also the one thing that everyone uses regularly, including teachers and that sort of thing. So that would probably be one of my main email sources. I'm also considering, if I were elected, maybe we would make some kind of like Discord committee, so to speak, where we'd have 2 or 3 officers who are primarily responsible for managing both the officer and the public Discord for members. And if there's any issues, they can consult each other or bring it to the board itself. The next question is, if you are not elected, how will you stay involved in BLSJCL? So if I am not elected consul, I will ideally still be on the board in some other capacity. And to do that, I would apply for an unelected position. But beyond that, I would also, of course, continue to participate in JCL in-school events like Saturnalia and attend service events around the city that I hold very close to my heart, like Boston Veg Fest or the Boston Food Festival and so on. I will also still be happy to assist the board in any capacity and perhaps with help training community service coordinators for the upcoming year. And finally, how would I deal with an officer neglecting their duties? So my position is, once you start to notice an officer neglecting their duties, it's usually best just to wait a little while longer and see if they pick themselves up on their own, or if it's kind of a serious ongoing problem. If they continue neglecting their duties, I'd reach out, with the other consul. We'd organize a meeting, see what's going on. You always want to make sure that there's not something serious happening, like a mental or physical health issue or something going on at home. And if that is the case, of course, the next step is kind of to make a plan to accommodate that problem, to make sure they can still do their stuff, or allow them to take kind of like a time of leave, so to speak. And if that's not, the cause of it, and it's just, people being lazy or not being able to do their work, due to high workload or something, we might warn them to pick them up or risk removal. All right, so those are all my answers to the questions. Please feel free to reach out to me at jtrapanick at Boston Public Schools or bostonk12.org with any questions, and I'll be happy to respond. Thank you for listening.